Gardening can feel overwhelming when you look at all the tools available. Shovels, pruners, hoes, rakes. It's easy to wonder which ones you actually need. The good news is you don't need every tool out there. Just the right ones for the jobs you'll be doing most. In this video, I'll introduce you to 20 essential garden tools organized into 5 clear categories. Each group covers the tools you'll use for a specific type of work in the garden, so you can see their purpose and how they fit into everyday gardening. Everyday tools, the basics you'll reach for again and again for planting, pruning, and general care. Soil preparation tools, for digging, turning, and getting your garden beds ready to plant. Weed and lawn tools, to manage unwanted plants and keep your grass and garden tidy. Watering tools, to provide your plants with the right amount of water efficiently. Heavy-duty tools, for larger projects, tougher tasks, and maintenance of bigger gardens. I'll go through each tool, explain how it works, and share why it's useful. By the end, you'll have a clear understanding of which tools matter for the type of gardening you do, so you can work confidently and effectively. Basic, everyday maintenance tools. Hand trowel. If I could only pick one tool to keep in my garden bag, it would be a hand trowel. You'll use it constantly, digging little holes, moving soil into pots, planting seedlings, or even scraping weeds out of tight spots. It's small, lightweight, and just makes the everyday jobs quicker. The mistake a lot of beginners make is buying the cheapest one, and those usually bend the first time you hit compact soil. Spend a couple extra bucks on one with a solid stainless steel blade and a sturdy handle. Trust me, it'll last you years. You'll find yourself reaching for it almost every time you step into the garden. Garden fork. Now, if you've ever tried planting in heavy clay or rocky ground, you'll know how frustrating a shovel can be. That's where a garden fork makes a world of difference. The tines cut through compacted soil way easier, and you can actually use it to lift root crops like potatoes without slicing them in half. I use mine a lot for breaking up soil before planting or mixing compost into beds. It's one of those tools that doesn't look fancy, but once you've used it, you'll never want to be without it. The key here is strength. Cheap forks bend, and once a tine bends, it's basically useless. Look for one with thick steel tines and a handle that feels solid in your hands. Pruners, secateurs. A good pair of pruners is like the pocket knife of the garden. You'll carry them around and use them for everything. Cutting back flowers, trimming herbs, snipping branches that are in the way, even harvesting veggies like peppers or cucumbers. The big thing to know is there are 2 main types, bypass and anvil. Go for bypass pruners. They give you a cleaner cut, which is better for the plant. A clean cut helps the plant heal faster, while a rough one can invite disease. I keep mine clipped to my pocket most of the time, because you never know when you'll spot something that needs a quick trim. They're small, but they'll save you so much time and frustration. Garden gloves. Gloves don't get enough credit, but honestly, they're a lifesaver. Try pulling weeds or pruning roses barehanded, and you'll learn the hard way. A good pair of gloves protects you from cuts, blisters, and thorns, and also just makes work more comfortable. I keep a couple pairs, a lighter, breathable pair for planting and everyday stuff, and a thicker leather pair for dealing with thorny bushes or hauling rough branches. The important thing is finding gloves that fit snugly without being stiff. You want to protect your hands, but you also need to be able to feel what you're doing. Gardening is messy, so washable gloves are a bonus. Once you get used to wearing them, you'll wonder why you ever worked without them. Watering can. If you've got a fancy hose or irrigation system, a watering can is still one of those tools you'll always find useful. It gives you control, especially when you're watering young seedlings, delicate flowers, or indoor plants. A hose can blast too much water and wash soil away, but a watering can with a good spout gives you a gentle flow right where you need it. Personally, I prefer metal ones because they last longer, but plastic is lighter and easier to carry when it's full. Pay attention to the handle. You'll be carrying it with one hand and pouring with the other, so you want something comfortable. And if it has a removable spout head, even better, because you can switch between a sprinkle and a direct pour. Number 2. soil preparation and planting tools. Garden hoe. If you've ever had to break up hard soil or chop down weeds, you'll know why the hoe has been around forever. It's one of the simplest tools, but it does a ton of jobs. I mainly use mine to break up crusted soil before planting and to keep weeds from taking over. Just a quick swipe through the top layer of soil, and you cut weeds off at the roots. The nice thing is, it saves your back compared to bending over and pulling by hand. If you've got raised beds, go with a short-handled hoe. For bigger spaces, a long-handled hoe is better so you can stand upright. It's not fancy, but it's one of those tools you'll always go back to when you need to get the ground in shape fast. Soil rake. A rake isn't just for leaves. A soil rake is different and way more useful for gardening. After you've dug or hoed, the soil's usually clumpy and uneven. A soil rake helps you level it out, break down the clumps, and make a nice, smooth surface for planting seeds. I also use mine when spreading compost or mulch to get an even layer. The difference from a leaf rake is the teeth. Soil rakes have short, stiff metal tines that can actually move dirt, not just light debris. When you're planting vegetables in rows, you'll love how easy it makes smoothing out the bed so seeds get even coverage. If you're serious about growing, this tool pays off with healthier, straighter rows and less wasted seed. Dibber, planting tool. This is one of those old-school tools most beginners overlook, but it's incredibly handy. A dibber is basically a stick with a handle that you use to poke holes in the soil for planting seeds, bulbs, or seedlings. Sure, you could use your finger or a trowel, but the dibber makes the job faster and more consistent. You get holes that are the same depth every time, which means your plants come up evenly. I especially like it when I'm planting onions or garlic because it saves me so much time. You can get simple wooden ones, but some modern versions even have depth markings, which is great if you're following a planting guide. It's not the flashiest tool, but once you've tried it, you'll see why gardeners have used them for centuries. Spade or shovel. If you've got a garden bigger than a few pots, a good spade or shovel is a must. This is what you'll use for digging bigger holes, turning over soil, and moving materials like compost, mulch, or gravel. A spade has a flat edge and is great for cutting through sod and making clean edges, while a shovel has a rounded blade and is better for scooping and lifting. Honestly, most people will want one of each eventually. Don't go for the cheapest. A strong steel blade and a comfortable handle will save you a ton of frustration. If you've ever tried digging in tough ground with a weak shovel, you'll know how quickly they can bend or snap. A solid spade or shovel is the backbone of any garden project. Wheelbarrow. If you're moving more than a couple of bags of soil, you'll thank yourself for owning a wheelbarrow. It saves your back, your arms, and a lot of trips. Whether you're hauling soil, compost, firewood, or even heavy pots, a wheelbarrow makes the work manageable. I've used mine for everything from shifting mulch to moving rocks. You've got two main types, single wheel and dual wheel. The single wheel is easier to maneuver in tight spots, while the dual wheel version is more stable and won't tip over as easily. Plastic tubs are lighter, but metal ones hold up better if you're carrying heavy stuff. This isn't something you'll use every day, but when you do need it, nothing else can replace it. Number 3, weed control and lawn care tools. Garden hoe for weeds. We already talked about the hoe for soil prep, but honestly, it shines even more when you're dealing with weeds. Instead of bending down to pull them out one by one, you just drag the hoe across the soil surface and slice weeds off at the roots. It's faster, easier on your back, and keeps your beds looking clean. I use mine weekly during growing season. A quick pass through the